welcome to Cabernet Chronicles. I am Aimee Lynn, and that's Donny. This is a podcast where I tell really great, fun, interesting, delightful stories, and somehow Donny makes it sexual.
Yeah, I tend to make asinine comments and things that derail us.
Yeah, but it's a fun time either way. Today, I am going to tell you the amazing survival story of Harrison Okene, who survived 60 hours at the bottom of the sea in an upside-down tugboat.
Oh,
Yes.
this ought to be fun.
So the sources for today is an article, many articles from the Associated Press, including the actual live diving. Like, you can go on YouTube and watch this rescue.
Holy cow.
It's crazy. But also a National Geographic, as well as Harrison Okene's YouTube channel.
Wait, this guy's still alive?
It's a survival story.
No, I know, but you were talking last time about the people who were going through the Antarctic and survived for 2 years. That was 100 years ago. This guy's got a driver's license in modern day freaking.
Yes, he's
okay.
So
sweet baby Jesus. Dude's alive. Why don't we have him as a guest?
because it only happened in 2013.
Wow.
Yeah. So yes, last time I did a lot of earlier survival things. Today I'm doing a
modern
times.
One.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Oh,
So
more wine for this.
it is 4:50 a.m. on the morning of May 26th, 2013. It's 20 miles off of the coast of Nigeria when the tugboat cook, 29-year-old Harrison Okene, wakes up to turbulent seas. Harrison is one of 12 crew members working on the Jason 4 tugboat, which is stabilizing an oil tanker filling up at a Chevron platform. The sea is very rough, and Harrison throws on his boxer shorts and stumbles.
This had it in his story that he was sleeping buck-ass naked. He's like, well, first thing I did was put on clothes.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't we all basically sleep naked?
Not when I'm working in the middle of the ocean. Jesus.
Well, but if you have your own cabin, or are you
I
gonna?
mean, I guess. Yeah, to each their own. But
you sleep naked. Shut up.
I do, but if I'm at work in a hotel or something, and there's other fucking people around,
but if you're in your own cabin,
my own cabin, on a tugboat,
tugboat,
there's not a lot of room there.
No, there's not.
What are you gonna do? Get up and go take a leak in the middle of the night and put your clothes back on? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
In my own house, I can get up in the middle of the night and go take a leak naked. It's not a big deal. Like, a tugboat, it's like, aren't you going to run into somebody in the middle of the night on the way to the bathroom?
I mean, I'm sure when you're in that close of quarters, you probably have seen each other naked already. Harrison throws on his boxers and stumbles from his cabin to the small head, which is the bathroom of a boat. Which is no larger than an airplane bathroom. As I said before, the seas were really, really rough. But Harrison and the other crew, this is normal for them. They're used to turbulence and heavy seas and everything, so he's not worried. And so he's sitting on the toilet.
3 points of contact.
And a mass. Well, I mean, yeah. If it's turbulent seas,
left
you don't
cheek,
want to.
right cheek.
You don't want to pee
somewhere.
standing up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be peeing standing up. Like, I'd probably end up peeing on myself anyway somehow. I don't know, but
I always sit down on a boat.
That's just how it would happen. Is I'd probably end up peeing on myself. So he's sitting on the toilet as a massive wave hits the tugboat's side. He is worried because the boat isn't righting itself.
I'd be worried about more worried about getting my ass splashed by my own dookie.
I mean, yeah, at first that's probably what he's more worried about. But he's not worried about the wave hitting the tugboat until it doesn't right itself.
Oh, okay, that sounds like more of a problem.
So he actually gets thrown around in this little tiny
the
bathroom.
Double whammy. You get your own splash against you and you're sideways now.
Yes. When it finally stops, the ceiling, the toilet is above him and the ceiling is underneath him.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah. Imagine the terror. 1 minute using the restroom, the next minute You're upside down in a tiny bathroom with water rushing in. So he tries to open up the metal door, and he ends up being able to get out. And he sees water rushing in, but he manages to find a life vest. He runs to an exit hatch. However, it is locked due to pirate activity.
What?
So they're off the coast of Nigeria.
Oh, so everything's
Didn't I say that part?
So everything's locked automatically.
So the exit hatch is locked because of pirate activity. He then goes to another exit hatch that is also locked. Water is filling up all around him, but he finally makes it to an unlocked exit hatch. However, and he says, quote, 3 guys in front of me, then suddenly water rushed in full force. I saw the first one, the second one, and the third one just washed away. I knew these guys were dead. End quote. So scary.
Yeah, that does not sound good.
Quite scary. A burst of water actually comes in, throws Harrison down the hallway and into another tiny bathroom down the hallway. He is thrown into this bathroom. That's when the tugboat hits the bottom of the ocean with a thud. The boat is now at the bottom of the sea, upside down, 100 feet from the surface, which doesn't sound that much, but 100 feet is the same as a 10-story building.
Well, sure, but on top of that, I mean, even if you could make it to the surface, whatever just hit the boat is still up there, right? Whether it's weather or waves or whatever. So last thing you want to do is go up there to get air and just get sloshed around.
Well,
right?
but also going that fast down that kind of pressure, you can't just go up.
Yeah,
you can't just swim off.
Right back up.
You have to. That can also cause lots of problems.
That'll kill you too.
So the water has almost filled the boat completely, and it is pitch black.
Huh.
Harrison is still alive and has an idea. Remember, he has that life jacket. So he floats up to the top of the bathroom and puts his face into the tiny sink.
At least it wasn't the toilet. It's like
the tiny sink into the ceiling, hoping it will become a dive bell. And it actually works.
Huh.
Harrison floats there with his entire body submerged in freezing cold Atlantic Ocean water, 100 feet below the surface, and with his head in the sink. And he says, quote, my colleagues were shouting, God help me, God help me, God help me. Then after a while, I never heard from them again.
Oh, shit.
End quote. Yeah. So he's sitting there in a tiny little bathroom. He's floating. And he only has his boxers on, remember? So he is quite cold. He is getting quite cold. And he thinks he's there for the entire day. Harrison floats there in only his boxers for what he thinks is an entire day.
Whew,
because remember, it is pitch black.
Yep.
And he loses all track of time.
I'll bet.
He knows he needs to get his body out of the water or he will die of hypothermia. So he decides he needs to venture out of the bathroom.
Jesus.
Which is potentially super dangerous because if he loses his way or stumbles at any point, he could just drown.
This guy is probably really good at Nintendo and memorizing maps if he can wiggle his way in the pitch
I mean,
dark.
well, if you've worked on the same tugboat for however long, hopefully you would know kind of what was going on. But also you have to remember it's upside down. So imagine your house, but then upside down. Would you be able to find your way?
Fucking weird.
So, yes. So it's crazy that way, but also it's pitch black. It's absolute pitch black. There's no light whatsoever. So Harrison thinks of his family and he says a prayer, quote, I told God, if you rescue me, I will never go back to the sea again. Never. End quote.
Dude's going to be a warehouse worker for the rest of his life.
Just wait. Well, he's the cook on the boat too, so he has skills that he can bring other places. But really, he just is wanting to get out. Which honestly, I would also be like, I will never go to the sea ever again. Please, whatever is out there, help me. So he leaves the bathroom to the adjoining captain's quarters. And to his amazement and utter relief, he finds a 4-foot air pocket in the captain's quarters.
Woohoo!
So he went from a tiny little sink with just his face in it to an entire room with air.
Well, an entire room for 4 feet.
Well, but that's still
That's
a good.
okay.
That's still
good.
more
That's a good
than
amount.
a tiny little thing. With
Yeah.
your face in it.
That beats a sink full of air for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowing he wasn't going to last long in the freezing water, Harrison starts to pull wall paneling to use as a raft. And while it somewhat works, he can't get his whole body out of the water. Harrison searches around the room and finds a rope, and he ties the rope to something and uses it as a guideline in order to search the rest of the boat for supplies
Oh, yeah.
and an exit.
Wait, weren't we talking about guidelines last episode?
Yes,
and
we
getting
were.
all tangled up and
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So he's using that as a guideline to enable to find his air pocket
Aha.
every time he leaves. Remember, it is pitch black. So he is going by memory and feeling around for supplies. He has to constantly go back to his air pocket, and he isn't able to find an exit or any fresh water or food.
God, it's all salt water too.
It is all salt water. However, he does find a mattress that floats, and he MacGyvers it with the wood paneling and is able to set it on a rack in order to get his entire body out of the water.
Sweet.
So not sure what to do next. He actually hunkers down and waits for rescue or until he thinks of a way to escape.
Waiting for rescue. Does he know he's at the bottom of the ocean yet?
Yes, he felt the thud.
Oh, God.
Another day passes, and now it has been 48 hours since the tugboat capsized. Harrison is confident that he is the only survivor and later says, quote, "I could perceive the dead bodies of my crew nearby. I could smell them."
Ew.
End quote. He can't shake the feeling that he isn't alone and keeps hearing terrible sounds that he thinks might be sharks fighting over the bodies of the dead crewmates.
How are they going to get in there?
Harrison says, quote, "It was a horror. I was scared. I had to stay and keep watch in case something would come in my direction," end quote. But how they got in there was, remember that exit hatch that they were able to open, and then it caused all the water to rush in, and he, that's what threw him into the bathroom that he was in. Yeah. As the hours pass, Harrison is having a harder time keeping hope. He is hungry. He is incredibly thirsty. And his skin, eyes, and mouth are all rubbed raw from the seawater.
Ugh.
Yeah. He is terrified the boat will shift, eliminating his air pocket and him drowning instantly. And he says, quote, "I was crying and calling on Jesus to rescue me. I prayed so hard. I was so hungry and thirsty and cold. I was praying to see some kind of light," end quote. After 60 hours underwater, he hears some hammering on the outside of the vessel.
Hammerback.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's what he did. He went and got a water depressor and he started hammering back.
A what?
A water dispenser? Sorry. Yeah, a water dispenser.
Oh, it's like a water depressor.
I know. Sorry. A water dispenser.
She's not having a...
And he starts knocking back. However, imagine you guys are divers and you are down there for body recovery and to investigate the shipwreck. So when they heard the sounds, they didn't think it was a person. They thought it was a shark or a barracuda in the boat.
It's like, Marco.
Yes.
Friggin' Fisher over here playing polo. God
Yeah. So Harrison also knows that this is probably what the divers are thinking. And he knows that he
SOS.
probably doesn't want to spook them.
Start fucking tapping.
Well, again, so the divers are underwater and the divers are working to get the hull open in order for them to get in. So they're only hearing those sounds. And also they're all hooked to microphones and stuff up to the
so
surface.
They can hear. Yeah.
So they're not hearing that. The little thuds that they did hear, they again thought it was
dude, start the
shark
SOS
or
taps,
barracuda
man.
or
ding,
something.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
So the hammering stops, and
I don't know
Harrison
the SOS.
thinks,
Sorry, it's my rendition of it. I'm assuming.
I don't think that is. The hammering stops, and Harrison thinks that they hadn't heard him. However, just then he sees a narrow stream of light in the darkness beneath him.
That's a welder.
No, it's a diver.
Oh,
it's a flashlight of the diver.
I'm thinking they're like welding through the hole. I'm thinking they're welding through the hole, trying to like get in. I mean, you never know. The diver could have been a welder.
It's a diver.
Thanks.
With a flashlight. I didn't think to put that as information I needed to put in here, but apparently it is.
Well, I figured if they're on the outside of the hole poking at it or whatever, maybe they're trying to like weld their way through it with a torch.
No, they were breaking into one of the doors.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I am the derailer.
Yeah. Fucking dumbass. It's a flashlight he sees of a diver. And he sees a diver swim into the room, so he lowers himself into the water and swims downward. But by the time he does, the diver has already turned around to leave.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Harrison says, quote, "The diver was too fast. I saw the light, but before I could get to him, he was already out. I tried to follow him in the pitch blackness, but I couldn't trace him, so I went back," end quote. Now, the beam of light comes back. And this time Harrison is ready, and he swims and swims until he sees the
scares the shit out of the diver.
I was about to. We're getting to that. We are getting. This is all shit. You can fucking go and watch this footage. You can go watch this footage on fucking YouTube. So he swims and he sees the backside of a diver swimming in front of him, and he knows to be cautious because he knows he's about to scare the shit out of this diver because they are not looking for survivors. They are there on a body recovery and to figure out what went wrong with the ship. The footage is fucking crazy. I couldn't really I could watch after this part, but they go into detail about what happens in it, like in the article, and it just oh god. Okay, so the divers have cameras and microphones, so it's all recording real time for the up
so there's a period of the recording. It's just
kind of. No, so Harrison knows not to freak him out too bad. So this is what happens. They are part of a mission from the parent company of the boat to not only recover the bodies, but to also investigate the cause of the accident. They're hooked up real time to the control room. The divers not only have tools to get into the boat, but also because of the bodies, they are worried about predators. So they have jackknives with them.
Great.
So imagine you're a diver and it is pitch black and you are at the end of 3 divers in a line. And then
something grabs your leg.
No, he knew not to do this. Harrison knew not to do this. He tapped one of their shoulders very lightly. My worst nightmare. So this is my worst nightmare. Being submerged in a dark space with dead bodies. I am not a fan of dead bodies. And here's the deal. If anyone murders anyone, my friends or anyone, and they come to me and say, help me get rid of this body, I'm going to say, no, fuck you. And not just because it's illegal.
I'd at least give advice. Be like, look, you want to bury vertical.
No, don't give advice. Don't give advice on this podcast.
Sorry.
You shut the fuck up about advice on this podcast. We ain't teaching people how to do that. That's not happening.
Find your information on your own, apparently.
Not only because it's illegal, but also because, fuck you, I'm not even getting near a dead body. So if you want me to help get rid of a dead body, too fucking bad. I ain't doing it. because I don't want to be around dead body. So, like, to the point that any of the funerals and stuff that I've been to with family members, while I'm sad and everything that they're gone, I have anxiety. I have such anxiety if they're there, especially if it's an open casket.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. It is not okay. And it freaks me the fuck out. So being in a tugboat on the bottom of the sea with other dead bodies, I'm like, oh no, that's the worst thing that could. Oh no, that's the worst. Actually, in fact, I'm saying this now, so everyone fucking knows this. If I die, and any of you bitches do an open casket for me, I will come back and haunt you. And you will not be able to get rid of me. You will not be able to excise this demon because I will have so much fucking rage in me that no holy water will be able to get it out. No sage will be able to get me out. No,
She'll keep coming back.
I will make your life a living hell if you do an open casket for me.
Okay, noted.
Okay.
So you want to be cremated? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, but also don't cremate me right away. Make sure I have. What did you just say?
What if it's not an open casket? It's just open like the right here.
That did cross my mind.
Okay, so Mallory in the background just said, "What if it's open tits, not open full-on casket? It's just my titties
like
are out,
an 8-inch open,
an 8-inch like opening in the thing."
Galore.
I mean, that would be funny. That would be hilarious. Maybe I wouldn't haunt you for all eternity with that one. But also, no, don't do that. Just get an autopsy of me. Make sure I wasn't murdered or like poisoned. Check me for all the poisons.
You know what we should do?
And then just throw me in the fucking woods somewhere. I don't know. Or cremate me. It's fine.
You know, we could do like a plaster cast and then have like the like.
You want a plaster cast on my tits?
Yeah, so they could pour the jelly into them, and then like you could always be able to.
You want a jelly cast on my tits?
That would be awesome. So, like a jelly version, right? So you could squeeze at them. And then they live on. So even when you die, they live on. It's great.
So put it on top of the casket.
Yes. Yeah, so we can make sure you have a closed casket, but everybody still gets to enjoy.
You know, how about you guys make me no, actually, you know what I want done with my body? Make me into a blue diamond.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
and then keep my skull and then put the blue diamond as one of my eyes.
Just one?
Ooh, two blue-eyed diamonds.
Turn it into One-Eyed Willie over here from the Goonies.
I mean, I guess it could be like a third eye.
Oh yeah.
Or it could be the diamonds in my tits apparently. So then you don't have to keep my skull. You can just have it can be the nipples in my jelly tits.
Yeah, there you go. That's great.
How did we get talking about this? I was doing a whole threat about like hurting. Well, you know, I will absolutely haunt anyone who has an open casket for me, but also doesn't check into my murder because I most likely will be murdered because.
This is like the first episode where it's like, you know, they did the exorcism set, right? And just gravitated. So you got to be careful, right?
I know. Okay, you're right. I won't be murdered. But just treat it like I was, just in case. You know, even if I'm an old lady, maybe I was one of the victims of one of those doctors that just like gave me too much morphine or something. You know?
Yeah, could be a Diddy situation. The coroner just says, "Oh, she died of pneumonia."
Yeah, exactly.
I'll look into that.
So look into everything. All right, be suspicious. Don't have open casket. Or I will haunt you.
Just be suspicious.
Don't be.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
do be suspicious.
Yeah. See, ha 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 ha. Now she's catching on.
Question everything.
Okay, where were we?
All right, so we were at my worst nightmare, which is being in a small enclosed space in water with dead bodies. Now, experienced diver Nico von Herden is swimming through the wreck, recovering the bodies. They recover one body, another body, another body. And he is the last of the 3 divers in a row when he feels something lightly tap his back in the darkness. I would literally throw up and shit myself if this happened.
You definitely don't want to do that in your mask.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. Like, I would end up dying and drowning right there because I threw up all in my mask and then I shit all over myself. And I probably would have a heart attack, actually. I'd probably have a heart attack.
That's the triple threat.
Yeah, the triple threat. I would just, yeah. This is also why I'm not a diver, not a rescue diver, not a ship diver. I would not be able to handle this kind of shit at all. So
shit, we can barely handle it on land behind a pair of microphones.
Yes. So these underwater heroes that are divers. Wow. I can't do what you do. So Nico spins around, and you can see this in the footage. It's literally like you can't see anything that happens. You can't see the tap because the light and the camera is all forward, but he spins around. Oh. Oh my God. And he shines his flashlight and he sees a hand coming out of like the cloudy water towards him. And he thinks it's the hand of a dead body, but it's the hand of Harrison.
Yanking on it, pulling him underwater.
No. Again, Harrison knew not to freak this guy out because he has weapons on him and just in case.
Yeah.
So instead, Nico grabs Harrison's wrist and then Harrison grabs his wrist back.
Ah! This dude's still alive. Holy shit.
Yes. And actually in the footage, you can hear someone in the control room think it's a dead body. And then go, oh my God, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive.
Holy shit.
So again, these men went into this tugboat to recover what they thought were going to be 12 bodies. They didn't think it was going to be a rescue operation.
11.
So Harrison needs air, and so he leads Nico to his air pocket. And once there, Nico gives him water and starts to coordinate a rescue.
Wait, gives him water?
Yeah, gives him some water.
Do they have like?
Yeah,
they got
some of them will have like
a line.
Yeah,
with
like
them? Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know shit about diving. Clearly.
I know. I don't know that. But he gives him water. And Harrison says Nico was still in shock at finding him alive. Quote, I knew when Nico gave me water, he was observing me to see if I were really human because he was afraid.
Yeah, probably freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. End quote. Harrison is understandably fraught with emotion, and he starts to cry and quote, I was just crying. I was ready to go
Fresh
and
water
die.
I've had in 3 days, and all I can do is pour it in my face.
He said, God heard my prayers, end quote.
Yeah.
Now, they just can't swim to the surface. Harrison is weak. He's cold. He's hungry. He's dehydrated. But worst of all, he has signs of carbon dioxide poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about being in small enclosed spaces, what kills people isn't running out of oxygen. It's actually the carbon dioxide that you breathe out building up and poisoning you.
Yep.
So a coordinated effort to rescue him is happening on the surface, with many experts are being called in to prepare his body in order to leave the tugboat. So first they immediately put an air hose down into the air pocket to blow air.
Fresh air. Yep.
Fresh air.
Yep.
But they can't do just oxygen because that can actually oversaturate you.
Yep.
So they do helium into the mixture. And you can actually hear in the video like it affecting his voice, and he starts having the helium.
After all.
He starts having the helium voice.
Yeah.
And actually, deep sea divers do this. They live in helium-rich environments for like a month, basically.
Wow.
And you can see videos online of them talking in like the decompression chambers and stuff. It's really actually pretty funny to see. But speaking of the pressure of the body at 100 feet can be dangerous to depressurize too soon. So they can't come up too fast because they could get the bends, and then they will get. And then that's bad. That's bad. So the divers, after helping Harrison get into diving equipment that they brought down for them, lead him out to a diving bell. And they make sure that he stays like the exact same pressure that he'd been at for the last 60 hours. Finally, he's above water, but now he has to spend more than 2 days in a decompression chamber.
Oof.
Yes. During this time is when reality really hit Harrison. He had hoped that others had survived like him in maybe a different air pocket, but that's when he is confirmed that he is the only survivor. So meanwhile, the crew of the rescue ship are feeding him and making sure that he's okay, but they're also marveling at his escape. No one on the crew had ever seen nor heard of someone surviving at such a depth. In fact, a training consultant for the Professional Association of Diving says, quote, to survive that long at that depth is phenomenal. Normally, you would just dive recreation for no more than 20 minutes at those depths.
Wow.
Harrison survived underwater for almost 3 days.
Holy shit.
End quote. So Harrison's survival baffles all the experts. There's a theory that his air pocket may have been part of a larger pocket at the hull of the ship. And
so
that was actually cycling in a little bit more air.
Circulation allows for, longer.
And that's why that space seemed to allow him to last for so long. And he didn't end up asphyxiating on carbon dioxide.
Yep.
There are also, there really aren't any, scientific explanations for how he survived at that depth. Because he went down so fast that normally if you dive down that fast, you would have cardiac arrest. And so
I mean, he was in a very relaxed position when all this started.
Yes, but so many experts in all these different fields, including diving sciences and diving diseases, have no idea how he actually survived, to the point that one is even leaned into not knowing and saying, quote, I don't know. I'm going to go with divine intervention. End quote. Yeah. So while Harrison has no physical injuries, he did suffer from PTSD and survivor's guilt.
Yeah, I'll bet.
He said, quote, they told me all the others had died and I cried. Why was I the only one trapped in the boat? Why only me? Why did my colleagues have to die? End quote. And he suffers from horrible nightmares. And he says, quote, when I'm at home, sometimes it feels like the bed is sinking.
Ooh.
I still think I'm at sea. I jump up and I scream. End quote.
That's pretty bad PTSD. But I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever been out on a boat and been on the water where the boat's rocking all day and then you get back onto land. If you go to lay on your bed or take a shower or something, it as soon as you close your eyes, you have to brace yourself, or if you are laying on a bed, you'll feel the bed still rolling or moving in the motion back and forth. And so you can only imagine.
Yeah.
Compound that with PTSD.
Yeah. The amount of times that I came off of your boat and then I went to lay down in my bed and I was like, oh, I'm still on a boat.
Get
no.
rocked to sleep, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually ended up having to stare at the wall and be like, that's the thing on the wall. That's this. Okay, I'm not on a boat anymore. I'm not on a boat. But yeah, it would be even worse if I had any sort of PTSD from that.
Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine.
So remember that promise to God that Harrison made where he said he would never go back to the ocean? Well, he actually kept that promise.
Yeah, I would too with the PTSD. Jesus.
He said being on a boat was too hard and he couldn't stomach it. So instead, he found jobs as a cook in restaurants on land. I don't know why I put on land. Of course, the restaurant's on land.
It's only a chef on airlines now.
I mean, I guess he could have been like a chef on a cruise ship or something.
But that wouldn't be keeping the promise.
I know. He kept that promise until, after a couple years, Harrison leaves the kitchen to become a commercial diver.
Oh, jinxed himself.
He gets a job with the same company that saved him. So, in the same waters he was trapped, Harrison does regular dives for inspections, installations, and may someday even be sent on a rescue mission. He is certified to dive at 160 feet, which is 60 feet greater than the depth he was trapped at.
Yeah, I mean, there could be some component of that is like, here, face your fear to get rid of some of the PTSD if you can, right, to get more comfortable with it. But that's if you make it out of that and you make a promise to not go back, boy, to go against that is really ballsy.
Well, so far it's a happy ending. Harrison regularly posts on his YouTube channel updates on his life at sea, and he says, quote, "They came for the rescue in Nigeria. Today I am working with them. They are happy to see me on board, strong and healthy, diving and working. I thank God for the strength, for keeping me alive, for giving me a second chance in life to be a better person, to be a hardworking person, and to have a reason for God to keep me alive. And for me to know that someday I might be a rescuer for someone else." End quote. And that is the incredible survival story of Harrison Okene.
I can't imagine that guy going on to save other people. That'd be pretty crazy.
It would be pretty crazy. It'd be really great. It'd be like, all right, well, I was saved. Now I'm going to
save other people.
Pull it forward and do it. I mean,
yeah, you become the thing that you were, right?
Yeah, that you were saved by, yeah, which is wonderful and great and really inspirational. So that is today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us at Cabernet Chronicles. I am Aimee Lynn, and that is Mr.
Right.
Mr. Donny, right? Yes, that's true. He likes to call him Mr. Right. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Cheers.